This episode is brought to you by Squarespace. Squarespace is the all-in-one platform that makes it fast and easy to create a professional website, blog, portfolio, and online store. For a free trial and 10% off your first purchase on new accounts, just head on over to squarespace.com and use offer code Gamebreaker7. This episode is also brought to you by Shutterstock.com. With over 20 million high-quality stock photos, illustrations, vectors, and video clips, Shutterstock helps you take your creative projects to the next level. For 30% off your new account, go over to Shutterstock.com and use offer code Gamebreaker7.
Gamebreaker TV.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to GuildCast number 80. Today is July 24, 2013. You are watching Gamebreaker. I am not Gary Gannon. Feels like every time I show up, I tell you that Gary Gannon's coming back, and then I reappear. It's just the way it goes. Gary Gannon is out sick, but that's not going to stop us from doing today's show. So, today, massive changes are coming to the game in 2013. The election's in full swing, and an instant level 20s. An instant level 20s. A plural and a singular. I don't think that made any sense. All that and more. But first, not joining us today is Richie Procopio because he's on vacation. So it's just me and Mr. Matt. Oh, third before the picture. Mr. Matt Visual. How's it going, Matt? You ready to carry this? This is all you. You might be muted. You might be muted.
Hey, all right, I am so ready. Yeah.
So ready that the microphone is muted.
Yes.
I'm glad we got that taken care of now, because it would have been a very slow show if your microphone was muted the whole entire time.
Yeah, it would have been. You just see face expressions throughout the whole time. That would be great.
All right. Well, let's just jump right in and get right to it. Here we go. Colin Johansson revealed what's next for Guild Wars 2 in 2013 in a massive blog post. So let's jump into it. What are we getting? New skills and trait points. Now, Matt, I think this is what a lot of the community was expecting. But I think what's kind of interesting here is a lot of people weren't expecting this outside of expansions. Were you expecting this?
It's because they seem to be trying to blur the line between expansions and living story, right? You see Colin Johansson didn't even give a straight answer last time they did a live stream. You know, are we going to have expansions, or are we going to do it in a Guild Wars 2 type of way? I think this is a good move because they need to add in some, build diversity with some of the skills, because it seems like everyone is in their set roles. Was I expecting this? I guess a little bit. After them saying that, expansions are not planned this year and stuff like that, they need to add something. So it's not that I really expected it, but because it came as a surprise when I was reading the blog. But I think it's a good choice still, nonetheless.
All right. Well, here's what Colin had to say for the reasoning behind this, and I actually don't have any quote cards because they called in sick too. The regular addition of skills and traits that you can earn as you play provides us an extremely stable, easily expandable reward system that fits neatly into the pillars of progression and advancement that Guild Wars 2 is all about. Your character will be able to grow and change for years to come without invalidating everything that you've earned so far. Now, Matt, this sounds like it makes perfect sense, because horizontal progression is it's not probably the most meaningful you can get, but I mean, I think that basically, like, opening it up to allow progression over the course of time and making stuff not necessarily feel, insignificant that you did in the past. I think he's on to something here, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, it'll be good because as they add more skills, more traits, you feel your character grow, and maybe they tie it into the living story. It's just like, boom, something happened, and now everyone has to learn new skills, and it feels good. I would like to see how long the list will be for the traits and skills. And like, are they gonna have like a bunch like in Guild Wars 1? Because in Guild Wars 1 they had so many skills. When I started playing that, like later on, I played it just to get my 30 points. I realized how many skills there were in there, and I was like, man, Guild Wars 2 is gonna be like just tons of stuff, and it ended up not being. So this could be good. I can't wait to see what they come out with.
What about learning new skills and traits? Could this, potentially change how people choose to play completely outright? Because that's kind of the great thing about Guild Wars is that they're so diverse and different that people can play the same class in a different way with different traits.
Right. It would be good to see, like, for instance, the Guardian, if they add some traits that would give him more damage, and he'll kind of, be viable instead of like, if you're playing a Guardian as damage, you might as well play a Warrior. That's what a lot of people say. It's like, oh, there's other classes that can do it better. Maybe they might add in some skills and traits that can kind of brighten that a little bit more, and have, different classes meaningful for different things, because, it would be cool to actually get some really cool skills like the Mesmer portal, right? That's just such a useful skill. The Mesmers are known for that. Like, oh, you have to have the portal when you have a Mesmer. You have to unlock that skill. I hope they come up with some traits and skills like that, exactly for everybody else. I mean,
but would that potentially ruin class individuality by doing that?
No. I'm not saying put a portal on everybody. No. I'm saying they have like different skills like that. They can add more to the game by adding some of these types of utilities like the Mesmer portal. Like, it's so useful. You always have. People even say it in jumping posts, like, "Oh, portal, please." No portal to jump post. So it'd be nice to have, like other skills like that, not just portaling, but like, I don't know, like summoning some beast or something like that. I have no idea, but it would be cool to see some.
What about and tell me, because you had kind of mentioned something about maybe giving the Guardian tree a little bit more, like giving more things for it to use as damage. Does that run the risk of hurting a class too much by giving it too much utility? Because then if Guardian is able to absorb so much damage, but is able to at the same time turn around and competitively deal damage because it has access to more traits now, is that going to cause a problem, or does it just need to be locked far enough behind the walls that you can't necessarily access both?
Oh, it definitely has to be balanced. I'm pretty sure if they ever go in that direction to give Guardians like more damage skills, like they did buff a Guardians damage the last patch, not last patch, the patch before, when they redid all the traits. They added the great sword that heals you and does extra damage, all into one second tier trait. They buffed it a little bit, but the thing is, of course, the Warrior will always probably be better for damage, right? They should never add something in that totally change the way everything's done, but maybe a different style of play. Like you can play, a Guardian can probably hold up to a Warrior if they're both damaged, and in the style that they play. If they can balance that would be great. It's because it's all about balance. You can't, I want this for my Guardian, I want this for my Mesmer, I want this for my Elementalist. It's all about balance, really, because and in PvE, it's more lenient. It's not like PvP where it's like, oh my gosh, the Necros, they have Torment now. They're ruining everything. Everyone runs a Necro now. In PvE, like, there's no PvP, so it's just like, if something's imbalanced, they can fix that. So I hope they have fun and something gets like OP and like a Guardian that can't die. Back then in Guild Wars 1 days, there was like this monk build that someone was telling me about that basically you can solo a dungeon in like one of the hardest dungeons. So it was pretty cool.
Jeez. Yeah, let's bring that back to the game. I'm sure everybody will love to have access to that kind of power. Do you think that we'll see interchangeable weapon skills at all here, or is it just going to be skills and traits that kind of affect, well, I guess it would just be skills that affect your 6 through 10 slot?
I think there is just going to be skills that for utility. It's not going to be for weapon. I remember them asking Colin Johansson about that, because I wanted to know if they'll have like dual hammers or pole arms or staffs or different types of staffs or spears. I think they have to really think about the whole game, not just PvE for that. So if they add in different skills for like your greatsword or something like that, that's going to affect PvP. They're not going to have like they have been separating PvE from PvP, but I don't think they're gonna do that without updating PvP as well. And that would they're trying to do esports and everything. They want everything to be balanced.
Did you notice at all that the word regular in the quote kind of sounded like it was going to be an ongoing addition to the game? I mean,
right.
That's got to be really hard to balance if they're constantly making these updates and changes, isn't it?
Right, and that's what I was saying. I hope they make a mistake. I would like to see some OP builds, I want that again. I want to feel like...
What happens when they make an OP build and it's not the class you're playing, though? Then what do? You go roll a new character, and then by the time you get that character leveled up, then they actually fix it. So then you'll just be mad.
Well, it's fun. It's fun. It gets people interested in the game with all these, different builds. And I think that's what they're going for, because if there's new skills and traits going into the game, people are constantly going to be messing around with their builds. Like, oh man, this skill might be actually better than the other one. You're like, oh, let's try this, let's try that, and you're probably going to be spending so much money resetting all your points over and over again. So I would like them to quite off topic, but I like them to add in a build tab. Like you can save your builds and just click towards it if you're out of combat, instead of having to go back to Lion Starts to reset your build, or a Clash Trainer. I would love them to have that.
But then you run into what World of Warcraft runs into, where people are like, I want tri-spec, I want quad spec. You know what? Just let me change every talent every chance I can get, so that I can. And then you get a whole brand new talent system. Then you got to completely redefine the way you made your game.
Well, I mean. See, they could switch it like instantly, if they have the builds there. So they just click it, boom, they're tanky now, and boom, they're damaged now. So it'll be, I don't know, it'll be pretty cool. I think it'll be pretty cool, especially armor sets as well. I mean, they had it in Guild Wars 1. I'm pretty sure they had templates that you can save your builds, and boom, it was easy just to switch builds for different situations.
Now, it definitely looks like a big focus is going to be improving the reward system here. And it's not obviously just skills. So can you give me some insight, and everybody else some insight on what's going on with champions?
So the champions will be getting a box. They're a guaranteed champion box, reward box, right? Which gives you karma, gold, and basically it gives you goodies, right? Lodestones. And so every champion in the world, it said in a post that it was Ore and Southsun, but I think it's for all champions. So they mentioned that it was for all champions, but they also mentioned Ore and Southsun. I think it's for all champions. So it will give players an incentive to kill bosses wherever they are. So if they're in Queensdale, there's no champions in Queensdale, but if they're in another area helping a friend level and they see a champion, it might be rewarding to actually go kill it. So I think that's definitely a good addition to the game, because right now champions are just roaming around and it's just like, just pass them. There's no point. There's no point in finding them.
Do you think this is at all a way to promote large-scale guild activity?
It could be. It could be like how guilds have set days. Like, oh, Monday could be Kill Champion Day, and they go throughout all the different worlds and kill champions and get a bunch of boxes, and they'll be heavily rewarded. I mean, especially if you get like a charged lodestone from one of those things. I mean, that's like
sure
gold right there.
Yeah. So
definitely.
Are you worried at all, though, that there's going to be good reasons to kill champions? Because it's got to be boring just kind of zerging them down. Are these incentives going to be enough for you to kind of want to seek them out and kill them?
I think it has a lot to do with the time that you put into killing that champion. If the champion is extremely long and you're by yourself, you're probably just not gonna want to do it unless you're looking for a challenge. I think it's a good direction for incentive for killing champions. Definitely, if the rewards are good enough, people are gonna kill it regardless. I mean, there's nothing you can do unless they add like they have the champions do different, I guess, mechanics to defeat it. I mean, killing mobs is the same repetitive stuff too as well. I mean, you're going to kill mobs, right, to complete the quest. So you're just going to do it. So I don't really think there's a really problem there. I mean, definitely good incentive to get the reward box in there.
So what's going on with dungeon rewards? Is there anything that's changing over there?
Ooh, yes. Cough runners, you might have a problem. So what they're doing here is that they're removing all the gold that you would get from bosses, right? And switching it with the champion reward box, right? And now you get a daily reward for completing the dungeon, and you won't get that extra bonus gold after the first time you run that path. So it all depends on how good these chests are that they're replacing the dungeons with. How good they are. Is it probably nerfing Path 1? Because currently right now everyone's running Cough Path 1, which gives you a lot of gold. And hopefully these boxes don't mess that up. Hopefully, because some people might be mad because it's currently like the best way to make money right now.
Sure. Do you think it's going to be enough to stop that issue, or just kind of hopefully, and we'll have to see what happens when the players get their hands on it?
But Cough 1, I mean, that's not an issue, man. That's like the only way to make money. I don't think they should nerf that at all, you know? Like, especially, I mean, if they're making it better,
if it's broke, leave it in so that I can make some money. You know, it doesn't matter. And I don't care about all these other choices. I'm just going to keep doing this because this is the most effective route.
They nerf everything else, okay? I can't farm ore, I can't farm anything.
So they should just leave this in just because they nerfed everything else.
Yeah, no one knows about it. Just swoop that under the rug. It'll be fine. It'll be fine, Arena. You don't have to nerf that. Hopefully, I mean, they're trying to get people to do other dungeons other than Cough, right? And right now, I guess it would be a good because, you know, everyone's like, if you're not a Zerker warrior, if you're not a Mesmer, you know, you basically don't get into those groups, and, you know, they're filled with elitists, you know? If they make it that you can do speed runs on other dungeons as well, you know, not only Cough 1, and it's rewarding for doing that, then they might balance it out quite nicely.
All right, now new crafting material rewards are also being added, which are account-bound guaranteed daily rewards. However, you know, this kind of sounds a little bit less like your traditional daily quest and a little bit more of kind of a bonus for completing content that you were doing anyway. Is that right?
Right. So it's like a wide variety of content that you can complete. If you complete jumping puzzles, if you complete towers and supply points in World v World, you get these rewards. And I wonder what's the cap on it. I think it might be one per tower or something like that. I mean, you just get it from completing anything pretty much, and which is great. Dungeons as well. So this would be great. And also they mentioned that the new tiers will also be part of this new material rewards as well. The new tier 7, I think. Yeah, tier 7. So that's also good as well. So I mean, if you're going to do a jumping puzzle like me and my guild often do, you might get something special. You never know. So that's actually pretty good.
All right, so this next change obviously fixes one of the biggest missteps, but I guess not in your case. Well, I guess that Cough 1 is not a misstep. You just want them to leave that in there. So, but this next change obviously fixes one of the big missteps that ArenaNet's made with Guild Wars 2, and that is they're taking Magic Find off of gear.
Yes.
You're no longer going to
This
be
is good.
choosing between better stats or better loot, essentially, right?
Right. This is really, it is needed, because it even if better stats and better loot, right? All right. Magic Find is on probably like the worst gear, it's just like power and then condition damage, and that's it. Like you get no type of vitality, nothing. It's replacing a stat which you need, and there's not a big variety with Magic Find. This needed to be in the game from way before, because the Magic Find is so annoying, because you spend so much money buying this stuff, and you feel so weak killing stuff as well, and you're bringing your team down when you're in the dungeons. So now you're going to actually have Magic Find on your account. Hopefully they boost it up a little bit more, because it's really low right now. If people don't have enough achievements, they're not going to be able to get a lot of Magic Find from the achievement boxes. So hopefully, they're adding more consumables as well. If you salvage blues and greens, you'll be able to get a Magic Find booster consumable. I don't know if that permanently adds it to your account, or it's just a boost for a time limit. Didn't say it in the blog post, but yeah, it's good.
Is there any word on what they're going to kind of be doing for players who already have Magic Find gear? Because you obviously can't screw those players over.
Yeah, they haven't said specifically what they're going to be doing with that, because I have Magic Find gear that is very expensive, and I would like to get some compensation for that. I wonder what they're going to do. I don't know if they will remove it from the game. They might switch it with something. I have no idea what they could do, because this is like a touchy thing, because there's people that have sets for like every character. So I really want to know what they're going to switch it with. Okay.
Also, as a nice little bonus, salvaging blue and green items are going to have a chance to get you Magic Find consumables.
Yes.
So a little bit more of a decision between sell or salvage now, right?
Yeah, definitely. Because blues and greens, that's what we call them, blues and greens, because that's all we get from these chests. Well, at least what we used to get. Now we're getting a little bit more golds here and there, but blues and greens are useless. Usually, I either sell them to the merchant, or I salvage them when I need to get an achievement or my monthly's done. So, you look at them, you're like, okay, maybe I should salvage them, or when I'm salvaging them for like the achievement, at least I'll get something good out of it, especially with the Magic Find. So, yeah, this definitely they're doing good with useless stuff, definitely.
All right, next up, crafting is being increased to 500.
Yes.
500. So, do we ever see that outside of expansions at all?
No, I don't think so. This is the weird game, man, because they're really pushing this living story thing, and man, it makes me wonder. It's like, man, they're giving us like free content. I mean, we can't really complain much. They're really thinking about it. It's just like, yeah, this is gonna be free. So moving up to 500 and adding in ascended gear to well, when you actually get to level 500, is pretty a big thing for it, for something that should be expansions. It's like stuttering on my words, and I don't see what they're gonna add in for expansions. Are they gonna just toss everything in the living story, and hopefully players just keep crowding in and keep coming in to the game? I mean, expansions really give you that publicity that you need to, get players playing again and people to buy the game and buying the expansion. So I wonder.
But maybe is that maybe, I mean, we've always talked about how Guild Wars has these events to try and bring back the players who have purchased the game but maybe haven't played in a while at the same time keeping people who are currently playing the game actively playing the game to see the living story. Are these enough to be that, or I mean, it kind of sounds like you're saying they need this oomph for new exciting things in an expansion. But is crafting has been leveled up to 500? Is that really what's going to rope in players who maybe have put it down and are going to go pay another $20 for an expansion? I don't know if crafting increase is a deterrent in that sense.
Well, the crafting increase comes with ascended gear, which what people want, which is a whole nother tier. That's what the crafting. If it was just crafting level 500, I'd be like, no one's gonna craft. Who cares about that? But because you can craft new ascended gear and weapons and armors, it's useful as well. And plus, you can sell the materials. I'm pretty sure you can sell the materials that you craft as well.
So in other words, start stockpiling lower tier materials right now.
Yeah. I don't know what lower tier stuff that you need, but yeah, definitely, you might want to keep them instead of selling them all the time, because the price is going to go up on them, because a lot of people are going to be level 500 as soon as that comes out.
Is there a danger? I mean, as you said right there, is there a danger that kind of system could potentially hurt new players that are trying to get into the economy?
What they're doing with this is that they can only craft a certain material once per day. So they're trying to keep that, the price manageable, and I guess the rarity of the new materials. So since you only could craft it once per day, then maybe it should be fine. And the people who actually spent money to get to the higher level crafting, which is not too much money. I mean, if you play a lot, it costs like 10 gold, maybe less to level up your crafting. You should be able to make some money off of that as well.
Now, the ascended weapons and armor, those are going to be found as rare drops as well. So is that just kind of anywhere at this point?
Oh, man. I don't know if it's... they haven't said where it's going to drop, but I mean, you might get it out of the chest, or maybe champions give you a chest as well in that chest. I don't know. They say it's a rare drop, and when ArenaNet says rare, it means rare. I mean,
0.00001.
Yeah, and plus it's account bound, so you can't sell it. There's no way to sell it. All ascended gear is account bound. Only the materials are not account bound.
On top of all of that we just talked about, we're also going to be seeing new legendary weapons and new types of legendary gear in 2013. Now, outside of that's exciting in itself, but what makes it kind of even more exciting, it's separated into two things here: legendary weapons and new types of legendary gear. So that has to mean legendary armor, right?
Man, I swear, if they pull out, legendary rings, what? No legendary rings. Because legendaries are cosmetic, so no, they wouldn't put out legendary rings. Maybe a legendary.
Hey, I got a good idea. Small. They'll make it a cloak, because that's working real well for World of Warcraft, and fans are loving it over there.
Dude, cloaks are awesome. I'm telling you, the only cloak you can get in this game is the medium armor for the thief when you first start the game. I'm like, and even then, it removes your beard, and it's like, no, why? I swear, man, they need to add, legendary back piece, cloak, and maybe it's like it has like a mirror effect and reflects whatever's around you, so it's kind of like invisible. Oh man, that would just be... You want an
so invisible cloak that you can toggle to turn yourself invisible.
No, well, not all.
That sounds incredibly overpowered. That sounds incredibly overpowered. Listen to Matt just coming up with the most. I want to be able to clear a dungeon by myself. I want a cloak that makes me invisible.
I mean, like a shiny white cloak. I don't know. Like, it would be cool. A black cloak too, as well. Like these little effects. But man, people's computers might crash in Lion Sarge with all that cloak going around.
Probably. They're also actually going to be letting change the stat combo of our legendaries out of combat. So obviously we don't need to worry about transmuting anymore. If you can afford a legendary, you're probably doing okay on the gold front, so it's not really that big of an issue, right? But it is still super handy.
It's extremely handy, because right now you can only get one stat. That's it. You have that stat for your legendary, that is it. That's all you have. Now you're going to be able to switch. And if they're adding legendary gear, right, the gear that you have on you, you can just switch to any build you want. So if you have full legendary gear, right, and you want to switch your build, you don't have to spend money, right, to switch the gear that you have on you, you'll be able to switch the stats anytime you want. So you'll add so much build diversity. Oh my gosh, this will be great. It's going to be great.
Now, they were also super clear about legendary gear is going to be remaining about the same tier as the stats of the ascended gear. Thoughts?
Yeah, so legendaries are updated depending on what's the best tier of not armor, but weapons. So when the ascended gear comes out, legendaries will be updated to ascended stats, right? But it won't be more powerful, of course. A lot of people get misunderstood with that. So it's just like with the stats being changed when you're out of combat, the stat combos. This is a good way because you spend all this time getting a legendary. It has to update. Spending all this time getting a legendary, and then ascendant weapons come out, and then you have an exotic legendary. Like, no, that would be terrible. But yeah, it's great. It's great to have that in there.
All right, let's finish up with what Colin said. But before we do, I want to tell you guys about an awesome deal that we've got going on right here with one of our awesome advertisers, Squarespace. Guys, you've heard us pitch this a lot, but I can't stress this enough. It's the 21st century. You need a website. Whether you're making videos, whether you have your own business, guild websites, there's almost no reason not to have a website in this day and age. The internet's so prevalent. Having your name on something like that further legitimizes yourself in any industry, and a website is a great way to do so. But a lot of people, like myself, I do a lot of video. I do not know programming at all, and that's where Squarespace shines. Squarespace is an all-in-one, easy-to-use platform that lets you use templates to create your website. So you just basically go to squarespace.com, hit get started, and as you can see, you select the template, and before I move down, the other awesome part is you get a free domain. No reason to go anywhere else. You get a free domain, and you can, when you purchase your website, and it's super, super easy to use. You can scroll down here and you can see there's all different types of templates to use for all different types of businesses, stores, blogs, portfolios. It's absolutely endless, the possibilities. All you guys got to do is just basically click here. You get access to your whichever template that you choose. And you actually, the other awesome part when programming comes in, I don't know if you guys have gone to some websites on mobile phones. If they're not programmed for it, it's an incredibly awful experience. Squarespace does it for you. It makes your site so that it's both compatible with the web and the mobile, all just at the click of a button. So all you do is just head on over, click your templates. You can go right here. Let's look at the mobile. Let's look at what this looks like. Ishimoto looks like on the mobile. Bam. There it is. All lined up, all centered for quick, easy use on a mobile device. And then if we chose to go back, I went too far. Where did Ishimoto go? Right here. But if I want to go to my live web page view, it's a completely different format. No longer am I scrolling up and down. I'm scrolling side to side. I've got more bars for different access for different pages. It's an amazing service and absolutely one of the best resources to get yourself your own website. So to do so, guys, head on over to squarespace.com and during checkout, use the offer code Gamebreaker7 and you're going to get 10% off of your purchase. It's a great, great deal. Head over and do it now. I don't know how long it's going to be up, so be sure to take advantage of that while you can. All right, moving back into Guild Wars. Finally, Colin finished off by saying that from the upcoming release of our brand spanking new looking for group LFG tool, to investigate ways to limit culling in PvE, to the 2-week content schedule our Living World teams have in store. The second half of 2013 has countless more exciting new things in store for our players than I can possibly cover here. As always, the content above is subject to change as we test and iterate on these systems. So there it is. There's everything you can expect to change. The safety net's in there, so they might not come up. Does anything... I don't know, Matt. What do you think about this? Do you not like the way investigating ways to limit culling in PvE sounds? Because that's a little concerning. I mean, I guess that's what the LFG tool does, and that's what they're maybe trying to walk carefully over.
Oh man, culling is such a it needs to be fixed. It needs to be fixed. I wish they like implemented this like way from before because man, like it really messes up when it comes down to World v World, which I mean they kind of fixed, and when you're having those big world events in in South Sun and all those big areas that they keep adding to the game. So I really hope I really hope they fix it. It seems like they have to do a lot of work just to fix it too as well. It took them so long to do the World v World one, and I think still people are having a little bit of trouble. But at least we have the bars that say, okay, you want how many people to be on your screen at a certain amount of time. Maybe they should add it for PvE as well.
All right, so moving on. The Cutthroat Politics update kicked off yesterday. So let's talk about the candidate trials. First of all, it's a repeatable instance for solo or group play. Have you checked it out at all, Matt?
Yes, I have. It is for group play, right? Well, you can do it solo, but it's a little hard because basically you go in and you have to protect the gold, right, around the place, and it's like a horde mode, right? It's like in Gears of War or something like that. If any of you guys have played that, and I think it's best with a group. You have your group stand around and protect the gold, and enemies will constantly flock to you and try to kill you, and then you have these little enemies, well, not little, but these enemies that will kind of sneak in and try to steal the gold and take it away from you. And you have to pretty much stop them from taking the gold, all the time and try to get like the best score and the best reward. And from that, you can keep moving up the waves, and it'll get harder and harder and harder.
Does this instance change at all depending on which candidate you're supporting?
No, it's the same thing. The difference is a char. It's talking instead of a human, pretty much.
What's the story going on in here then? I mean, is there anything of note or interest or individuality? What's the story?
Oh man, see, I suck at stories because when I go in, I just do. Like what happens? What happens?
Don't you show me that
shipwreck.
quest? I don't care. I don't care what you're saying. I just want to play. Get it out. Get it out. Go away.
Right, because the way they do it is because it's voice acting. It's very limited. When you have usually in MMOs, if they don't have voice acting, they have a wall of text, and you can kind of get details between what's going on. Right. In this one, you kind of just shot in. If you're not really paying attention to what they're saying, you will kind of miss stuff. And when you go, you'll see like there's a shipwreck, and you see gold on the sand on the beach, and you're supposed to protect it from the ether blade coming in to try to steal it from you. I think that's pretty much the story. Like, basically, you take you save the gold, and it supports the person you're doing it for. So Nashblade or Ellen Keel.
Now, there's 4 levels of difficulty on this one. How does that work?
Oh, see, I've only played the first one because after I played the first one, I was like, not for me. This one I didn't try out too much. Sadly, I didn't. I'm pretty sure it just gets harder on the way, and if you complete 2 waves, tier 1 and tier 2, you actually get achievement for it.
All right. Well, let's move on then, and let's see. The addition of a whole new gameplay mechanic for dead players is pretty exciting from the sounds of it. They could have easily gotten away with doing nothing for that, right?
Dead players in which mode? We're talking about survival?
I think I totally skipped the start of this question because I was trying to scroll down to the next topic. The aspect arena is potentially exciting for PvP. That's what we heard about last week, right?
Yeah, I actually like Aspect Arena. Not as much as Southsun Survival because Hunger Games has a special place in my heart from beta weekends. But the Aspect Arena is pretty cool. What you do, you start off and you get to choose between 3 sets of skills: the sun, wind, and the lightning. And each of them are kind of like you get some of the skills that you use to kind of jump around in the last Bazaar of the 4 Winds. And they have some more damage skills now. So each of them have like their own strategies to it. And so each one picks one, and then you go into the arena and you start fighting everybody. And it's, I don't know, it was pretty cool. These mini games are pretty cool because I had a 1v1 with this guy, and he had he had the wind, and I had the lightning, and we were just like bouncing around, knocking each other back, knocking each other off, almost off the stage and stuff like that. It was actually pretty fun, I gotta say.
But not really, a hardcore PvP thing that maybe the hardcore PvPers are looking for. Just kind of a fun mini game.
I don't know. PvPers, I see them like they never leave. They never leave the heart of the mist. I swear, I have a couple PvPers on my friends list, and when I look at my friends list, they're still in the mist. They either play the new PvP map or either they never come out. Like PvPers, hardcore, they never come out. If anyone plays PvP and PvE at the same time, it's usually like they play PvP casually.
Now, this was actually what you were talking about with, you mentioned kind of the Hunger Games from beta. They've implemented Southsun Survival, which you kind of already told us about it. So, but I think the big difference here is the issue of hunger. How important is your hunger, and is it kind of more of a health bar, or does it actually matter?
All right, so you start off with 100 health, right? And hunger ticks off life. So think of it as bleeding, but very slow.
How fast is it?
Every second.
How fast do you
every second.
How much? How do you keep up your hunger gauge? Are there items around the world that you eat?
Rations. So all right, let me start from the base. You start it, and everyone's in the same area, and you're supposed to run towards the middle, which is the bonfire in the middle, and pick up stuff. So you have pipes, you have swords, you have arrows, you have rations, which you use to heal yourself, fill up the full health. You have so many different things, and from that you can get rations, you can get arrows, and the rations are the ones that heal you. Then you can scavenge, right? After you get immobilized in the beginning, you can go and scavenge, and you can get rations from there. So you have a chance to get rations from that. And if you're lucky, you get a lot of rations, and you can go and hide somewhere and outlast everyone from eating from hunger. So if you have like 5 rations, you might want to find a nice place where no one's at and just sit there. And even then, those dead players, they come after you with those karkas, and they drop a karka bomb on you. But I'm getting ahead of myself. But yeah, hunger is very important. Hunger is very important.
So this is the thing. Getting back to the point that I talked about. Obviously, the whole new edition of dead players and that mechanic. How is that integrating into this minigame?
All right. So in the beginning, you have a 5-minute, I'm pretty sure, grace period. So in the beginning, everyone's together. So it's guaranteed you might get headshotted. It's guaranteed. That's what's going to happen to you. You're probably a few people are going to die right off in the beginning. You're just going to see your friends just laying on the floor dead. Don't worry about it. They're going to respawn. After that grace period, when you die, all your items just get pushed out, and you turn into a wisp or a little ball of light. And what you can do with this ball of light is follow players around, and you have to collect these little blue orbs, like little blue souls. Which usually kind of spawn after someone salvages something. A player salvages something. I could be wrong. But usually around players, they usually spawn around there. If you get around 10, which everyone uses, you can drop a karka bomb, right? It's like something out of Call of Duty, like a care package. A karka, not a small one, a big karka comes down, and you can kill players. You can sabotage players, pretty much. And there's other skills, of course, that they'll cripple you. They'll make you spit out all your items. And really, if you have friends in the game, you can kind of get, if they die before you, you can kind of get them to help you. It's like, oh, dude, there's a wisp next to you. Keep running. He's probably going to spawn a karka or something like that. Or he's going to mess with you or something like that. So, yeah, it's fun. It's fun being a wisp as well. So the game doesn't really end when you die.
I think that's really awesome because that wasn't necessarily something that they had to implement, but it kind of just is that extra thing to go the extra mile. It definitely looks like it's going to be an awesome minigame, and you guys should check it out. There's a little bit more to it, but I encourage you guys to go check it out. We need to move on to some patch notes. So something I think that a lot of people were looking forward to was a player instrument volume slider that has actually been added to the sound options. So I can't just, basically what you're saying is I can't go run around playing My Heart Will Go On, annoying everybody along the way because they can just mute me.
Definitely. Hate some people play. I like some people play like Zelda, the theme for Zelda, and it's like, okay, that's nice. That's pretty nice. Some people are very talented with that. But then you have the people that are just holding down the whatever key and going, I remember the first time I heard that, I was at the bank, and I'm like, what? Is it someone in Mumble doing that? Like, who's doing that? And it's somebody, like, as soon as you move away, you can see that either the volume goes down. So it's good to have that slider. I haven't had much problems with it, but yeah. Oh, gosh. I know that song from anywhere. That's the Academy Award winner.
You telling me you don't enjoy this immersive music in your video game experience? What's wrong with you, Matt? I don't know. I don't understand.
Oh, that is so bad. That
guy's famous.
Oh, man.
That guy is internet famous. All right. So was the auction house bank area just, you said actually was a complete nightmare. Any major class changes that are currently affecting anyone with this?
I didn't really look too much into it. I didn't really see much that affected me personally for Guardian too much, but I definitely have to dive into that because that's one thing that people tend to kind of miss. You know, it's like, oh, no one really looks at the patch notes to see if their build got nerfed. So I definitely got to look at mine. But yeah, I don't know. Ooh, hopefully not too many major changes to the Guardian.
All right, so we'll get on to the gem store here in a second. Before we do, I want to take a moment and thank one of our other amazing sponsors that we'd like to tell you guys about here on Gamebreaker. That's right, Shutterstock. Shutterstock.com, as you guys have heard from us, is an amazing resource for anyone in the creative field. With over 20 million high-quality stock photos, illustrations, vectors, video clips, Shutterstock takes creative projects to the next level. If you guys are making YouTube videos, websites, video games, these assets go far beyond what you can think. You know, you usually think stock photos, sunset. You know, for those of you who have maybe, you know, I can't even spell sunset properly. When you think of Shutterstock, you just think of stock photos. Like, I don't want to log in. Like this, looking up a sunset. It's great. It's great for this purpose, but it's not utilizing it. It's not utilizing Shutterstock to the full potential. There's so much power in what's offered here through various vectors, icons. Video footage is what I've actually found to be the most useful for myself in a professional environment. I'm currently working on some graphics for a feature film, and I needed some blood elements to drip down. So I came over to Shutterstock. I typed in blood. Let's try blood drip real fast. Maybe put a space. Got to be smart and use actual words. Boom, there we go. There's some blood dripping elements that, you know, I don't have the necessary abilities to create this kind of file in After Effects, but I can just simply come over to Shutterstock, and they've got a bunch of different options for me to use. They have different like blood ink explosions. I mean, these are really cool if you're doing any sort of motion graphic elements. They've got these pre-matted awesome things that you can colorize to your heart's desire and basically just kind of make your creative projects your own. So if you guys haven't checked out Shutterstock right now, it's the best time to do so because they are offering 30% off if you guys use the offer code GAMEBREAKER7. Can only use that, I believe you can use that offer code at checkout, and 30% off is probably one of the highest percentages we've seen off in a while. We don't know how long this deal is going to be, so now's the time to act because we don't know how long this deal will last. All right, let's get back into it and move on here. The gem store, basically, all right, Matt, Black Lion chests now commonly drop ticket scraps while rarely dropping the full tickets. What's the purpose of this change?
Man, I don't know what they're going for with this. I'm not much of a black line chest type of guy. Um, what's happening is that you can change the scraps into a claim ticket, and you can use those tickets to actually get the Etherblade weapon skins.
How many scraps get
I'm
you a
not,
ticket?
10 scraps give you a ticket. 10 scraps give you a ticket. So, man, I don't use the Black Lion chest that much to get 10 scraps. I wonder how much you get from each, like, one chest. I wonder. And I mean, unless everyone's been getting keys all over the place, I'm never going to open one just by spending. I'm not a fan of those boxes at all, because if I spend money on them and I don't get anything, I'm going to be mad. So...
Here's the real question, though: can you buy the weapons with gems, or do you have to get them through the use of these tickets?
I think you have to use them through the tickets, if I'm correct. Yeah, the tickets. They are not in the gem store from when I'm looking right here.
Do you think
so
that's...
you actually have to get the tickets? Whoa,
do you think that's
a little bit?
But dude, that's kind of exciting. I mean, that almost it's a very big pain in order to throw a gamble like that, where you might not get what you want. But do you think that's going to bring a little bit of prestige to these items since they're not offered up on the gem store?
I mean, they look fine. They're not bad looking. Because it's all about the way they look and how bad you want something, right? That's how much money you're gonna spend. I don't know if it's worth buying all those scraps or chests to get scraps to get the tickets, because it's not just one ticket, so man, that I don't think this is a good decision really to do that. I don't know how many people in the chat are actually gonna buy this. I wonder. I'm kind of curious, because
Quick poll, chat room, if you're gonna buy it, type a 1.
Yeah. Oh, so someone says it's on the trading post as well. Oh, so you can just get it from the trading post then.
Well, there you go.
Well, there you go. The problem solved.
I mean, it definitely sounds like ArenaNet kind of wants this system to continue going forward as tickets. You kind of earn right now can be used for select future weapon sets. Moving on here, though, there's now a way to get an instant level 20 on the heels of the introduction of single level up items on Black Lion chests. We now actually have an item that boosts you up to level 20 if you're lower than that. So as far as we know here, this item it's not located in the Black Lion chests, correct?
Oh, I actually don't know. I actually don't know where there was a rumor from before, from last episode, that they were in the Black Lion chest. I heard they were in the achievement chest for 5,000. So that's I don't know, like for these it's only for level 20. I mean, this is really good if you're creating a new character. If you're creating a new character, then this would be good to level up to level 20 real quick, and you only have 60 levels to get to level 80. Because really, right now, like, if you have a couple level 80s, you don't really want to go through the level up process. I mean, I could be wrong. For me, I don't want to go through the level up process anymore, because really, from the beginning of launch, the launch had so many events. Nowadays, there's not many events. There's not much going on. There's not many people roaming around in the world, and hopefully that would change with these new updates that they're doing now. But I would definitely like a level 20 consumable if I ever get a chance to make a new character, if I have more space.
I mean, you seem to be fairly supportive of this, and I don't remember if... I feel like I was on the show maybe 2 weeks or maybe 4 weeks back talking about the ability to just kind of instantly get your character. When we were talking about the single items, we were talking about implementing a item that maybe takes you to max level. Do you think that 20 is a good starter level to just kind of get out of those starting areas and get started on a new path for a new character?
Yeah, it's enough for people not to complain. I don't know what would be the problem, really. Like, if you're getting this item from an achievement chest, I mean, that you earn that, that's your account chest. You can level up a character using that. I I guess it would be imbalanced, or I don't know how it would be imbalanced. I mean, all you're doing is time. It's convenience. It's a convenience item, right? That you can't buy from the trading post, right? If you can, then that's another story. That is another story. If you could sell it, that's another story. But yeah, I don't see that it's a problem really. I'm supportive of it because I don't see what the issue is. Not that I really have any space to really use it, and I'm not like going for it, or probably won't be able to use it at all. I don't know. I don't see a problem.
Do you think that this could maybe be ArenaNet testing the waters for potential things that they can straight up sell?
Oh, sneaky. Yeah.
It's a good way to do it.
Yeah, just like, oh, it's okay. You remember that level 21? It's fine. Now we're gonna add in something that if you pay $20 or $60, you get to level 80 instantly.
Pay to win. Pay to win. Well, wait. I mean, but if we go back to the original Guild Wars, obviously it's a completely different game, but they had an instant max level option, didn't they?
Yeah. I don't know if they had a max level option, but really it wasn't that much to level up either. I mean, it was only 20 levels, and there was no expansions never upgraded the level cap. So I mean, it was pretty easy to level up to level 20. So I mean, it wouldn't matter if they had a consumable to do that. And right now, I don't really see the problem with it in this one either. But I guess if they, yeah.
Ultimately, though, what would you be okay if they kind of stepped out and started selling max level characters, or is that going too far?
I think people would complain. For me personally, it wouldn't bother me. It depends on the price. If they're asking a little bit too much, it'll be a little scammy. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's dangerous there. But I don't see the problem. Like I said before, I don't see the problem. You're not gaining anything from being level 80. If you already leveled, right? But what you are, if you haven't played the game yet, right? I don't think they should be able to do that quick level 80 because they're gonna skip the whole game. If they skip the whole game, then what's the point? Because you have to go through that experience throughout going all the dynamic events and the hearts and stuff like that. So maybe they should have a limit, like, oh, you have a couple characters on level 80 already. This is unlocked to you. You can use this skill. It could be balanced like that.
What if it was an item that scaled based on your level? It's like, okay, if you've reached level 2, you can automatically buy your way to level 2. If you've reached level 35, you can buy your way to 35. If you've reached level 80, you can buy your way all the way to level 80.
That's really borderline though. Like, levels don't mean anything in Guild Wars. That's the thing. They don't mean anything because you get scaled everywhere.
Exactly. So if I want to skip it, just sell it to me because they don't mean anything. From the words of Matt Visual.
Well, I mean, seriously, like anyone who has 4 level 80s, right, or over 4 level 80s, you've been through the world many times, and you have map completion. Do you really want to go through that world again? Do you really? Not really. Maybe with the new upgrades that they're doing to the world, maybe it's actually worth it. You actually gain money because you do actually gain money for completing the events and the hearts and stuff like that. But it's a really good experience. I'm not saying it's not a good experience going through the world. I'm seeing the chat blow up over here in the corner. I don't know what they're saying, but yeah, I don't think they should do that though. I don't see a problem with it, but that buying each level, that might incentivize, people might look at that really badly. I think if anything, if they even have it, it should be like one book that says you go to level 80 if you have a bunch of level 80. You can do this. Or maybe a big hard quest that gives you this skill book that gives you, it goes all the way up.
Well, whatever happens, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what else they might come up with achievement chests. I think there's some cool stuff that they could gate behind that. I think that's a really awesome system, and I'd like to see them flesh out. All right, let's let's take a look at some of these video questions that we've received. Each week, we'd like to do viewer questions, but if you guys want a video question, all you guys got to do is put it up on YouTube, make it about 30 seconds to no more than about a minute. upload it to YouTube and send it to us at submit@Gamebreaker TV, and we'll make sure that it gets on the show. This week, we got a question from Robert. That's not Robert. That's Robert. Robert, I can't hear you.
The question I had is in regards to the newest content with Cutthroat Politics. Do you think ArenaNet is kind of rigging the election by giving Evan Nashblade such an enticing fractals as the Fall of Abaddon? And when I first heard about the two candidates, he was pretty much the immediate one I was going to go to. And when we got Twitch blogs from ArenaNet, like Colin Johansson, obviously favoring Nashblade, I was wondering, are they trying to lean us towards the side rather than giving us two very strong fractals? Just give us one strong instead of two? Anyways, just want to see what you guys think. Thanks.
So, Matt, were you able to hear that towards the second half?
Sort of, yeah. He kind of asked, because Colin kind of, on a live stream, he did kind of go to Nashblade. He's like, oh, I'm voting for Nashblade because it's better. And a couple of people on Twitter as well, a couple of the devs on Twitter were going for Nashblade. And I think his question was, are they trying to pick one for us or something like that? I think that's kind of what his question was. I don't think so. I mean, it's all about the community. I mean, and what they want, because they're going to be starting this from scratch. They don't really have this already built already, and they're just waiting for you to pick one and then it's going to be out. No, they're going to build this from scratch as soon as something is picked. Of course, the developers are going to have their favorite. Maybe they know something about the Fall of Abaddon that we don't, and they writ down what's going to happen during it, and they think it might be cooler, and they're probably pushing towards that. And even though a lot of people are liking the Thomanova reactor explosion, that one's pretty good too. My friend explained it. I don't know if this is correct, but explosion that rips reality or something like that, a hole in reality. I was like, man, I want to try that out too, and I kind of want both now. But I do like the Southsun Survival, so I probably would go with Nashblade in the fall of defeating a god like God of War, like the game God of War. That would be pretty cool. Yeah, I really don't know. I don't think they're really pushing. Well, some devs are pushing towards Nashblade, but I don't. I think it still has to do with the players and how they support each candidate.
All right, we have one more video question that we're going to direct towards you, Matt. This one comes from Reuven. Here we go.
Hello, Gamebreaker TV, Audible, Shutterstock. Go check them out. My name is Reuven. My question is...
Darn right, Reuven. You're doing it right because you're plugging for us. We appreciate it, and hopefully you've checked them out as well. Thank you very much.
What do you think is under the tent? It used to be the Canthan District, then it got changed to the Great...
Look at that. Reuven's not only plugging for us, but he's bringing up Audible ads on his AdSense YouTube. Look at that. He knows what's up. All right, sorry, I interrupted his question. I'm going to go back.
What do you think is under the tent? It used to be the Canthan District, then it got changed to the Great Collapse, and now there's a tent over it. If you ask Richie, he probably already knows. He's got the insight on the inside. But in case he doesn't, let the speculation begin. I'm thinking that it is prep for the next campaign/expansion coming out maybe at the end of this year or next. Thanks for watching.
So, Richie, let the speculation be... Oh, wait, Richie, you're not here.
Oh,
dang
Richie.
It. The one time we needed you on this show, you're not allowed to go on vacation next time. So what do you think's under the tent? And that's an interesting concept to think about for kind of enticing people to get excited about something that's coming in a new expansion. Make everybody wonder and question what could be under the tent. I'm gonna tell you the answer. My answer: what's under the tent? Nothing. Nothing's under the tent right now because they didn't program it that way, and that's about all I can say. But Matt, what do you think theoretically could be under the tent? What are they teasing towards?
People are saying that they glitched through the tent somehow and look through it. I never got a chance to look at the video, but someone was telling me on Twitter, like, oh, have you seen this tent? Man, like I like the way Guild Wars 2 does this, because back in beta weekends they had like the Shatterer flying across plains of Ashford and stuff like that. I like when the ArenaNet does this. This is great. I think this is very good to get speculation going. But what's under the tent? I have no idea. Like Kanta is supposed to be in Divinity's Reach from what I heard. I'm not a lore buff like Richie, but it was supposed to be in Divinity's Reach. I'm hoping that I'm pretty sure this has to do with the next update.
I found it. Here's what's under the tent.
You found
someone
it.
I don't know if and this is someone who supposedly hacked their way through to see what's under the tent. Currently, it's just a big hole.
It looks like, oh my god, it looks like Kanta. Looks like Kanta a little bit. Oh wow, it looks underground too.
So does that change your perspective of what you think it might be?
It's definitely I gotta say it's definitely not expansion. It has to probably do with the next living story, because the next living story kind of looks beefy.
Siphon from the chat is actually saying confirmed by devs it's not Canthan.
Well, of course it's not. I mean, of course it's not Kanta. Of course, like they're gonna use the architecture just like in Bazaar of the Four Winds, and they're just gonna hint, and they're never gonna use it. Definitely not. But it might be a good PvE patch. I have no idea what it could be. Someone said on Twitter that it might be an art district. I have no idea. Like it's speculation. I really hope it's good though.
What a great way to get buzz talking. Just put a tent in the middle of nowhere and let everybody start talking about it. Matt Visual, you can follow him right down there at Matt Visual, Matt_Visual. The underscore is important, otherwise you won't find him. Be sure to catch him right here on GuildCast every week. Thank you so much, Matt. Great show. I know we were kind of worried without Richie, but you did a great job holding your own.
Thank you.
You guys can follow me right down here at Mike Schaffnitz. I host After Dark. It's a live call-in show where you guys can ask whatever your heart's desires. Call in to talk to me about cheesecake. Call in to talk about old retro video games. Call in to ask me how I can trick you into having a girlfriend. I don't know. That was a question last week. It's really crazy, but it's really fun. Be sure to catch that live Tuesdays at 9 p.m. PDT. Also, just real quick, I know this is Guild Wars, but if you guys haven't checked out, I just also put up a World of Warcraft recap show that will hopefully it's actually a show that I hope will span out into multiple games. Specifically right now, the episode that we just put up was for World of Warcraft, so go check that out and let me know what you guys think of the format. I'd really appreciate your feedback. Thank you guys so much for watching GuildCast. If you guys haven't watched it live, goes live Wednesdays at 6 p.m. PDT, so be sure to catch it right here on Gamebreaker TV. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week. Gary and Richie will be back. Now that I've said that, they won't.